Hello, welcome to another edition of the Pierce Brothers. I'm Brian, and this is Porter.
Hi.
Today we're going to do a kind of a quick video on the Ruger GP100. Very popular revolver right now. It's been around a while, but we'll kind of take a little more in-depth look at that gun. I'd like to start off a little bit with the history of it. We'll start with the Ruger Security 6. This was a really interesting and innovative gun in its time. It was introduced in 1971, and go back at that time, Smith & Wesson mostly and Colt owned the double action revolver market. And of course, 357 medium frame double actions were highly popular. Like Smith & Wesson did their Model 19 and their 66. Colt was doing the Python and the Trooper at that time, and then later the Trooper Mark III and so forth. But they owned it. And Smith had the Model 27, by the way. But anyway, Ruger came out with something that wasn't really a spin-off of anything. It was fresh from the ground up. And again, this was 1971, and he designed a lockwork that dropped right out the bottom with a trigger guard. Disassembly could be done with nothing more than a dime as a tool. They proved tough as nails. They had very rigid frames on them. The cylinder itself was not much larger than a Model 19 Smith, but it was slightly larger. Came standard with service style grips, but it only sold for like $89, brand new retail. And Ruger sold more than 1.2 million of these guns. Pretty incredible. They later were kind of updated. They came out with stainless steel. They came out with target stocks that were a little bit more conducive to the modern shooters and so forth. But one interesting point, this gun locked on the end of the ejector rod, just like Smith & Wesson does, and at the back of the cylinder, in the back of the frame. Pretty traditional. But these guns proved very durable with a steady diet of full house 357 Magnum loads. They also had a variant known as the Speed 6, and it was basically the same gun. This one happens to be stainless. That has had the hammer bob, but it was basically the same gun, but it was of course fixed sight, and so nothing there to break, or if you wanted to conceal, it was rounded and smooth there. It was really intended to catch, especially in the 4-inch barrel, the attention of the police departments and so on. But that was a variant. But in 1985, Bill Ruger decided to come out with yet another version, and he added about 55 thousandths diameter to the outside diameter of the cylinder. But there was the basic lockwork remained similar, but there were very few parts that were interchangeable. He went to a what's known as the peg grip frame instead of like the Security 6 that had a full house grip frame, if you will. This was a peg, and we'll show pictures of that allowed pretty much any style of grip in shape or size to be fitted to it. It also lightened the gun up and made manufacturing that frame easier. But it also had another significant feature. Ruger had already introduced the Red Hawk, and he took and basically did a very similar locking system in the front of the crane assembly, so the cylinder no longer locked on the end of the ejector rod, rather it locked on the crane and on the back of the cylinder, and that really resulted in a system that kept the cylinder really rigid and every chamber in alignment with the barrel. This gun's actually been a test gun. It's been abused and used with ammo that was out of spec. It's been shot with about every load imaginable. It's probably had, I've never counted, but easily more than 10,000 rounds through it. And it's still tight. It still runs good. Still shoots good. But again, the GP100 was introduced in 1985, and that was kind of the wrong time to do it because at that time, if you go back, everybody was police departments were transitioning from revolvers to auto-loading pistols. Everybody was after the Wonder Nines, as we called them, and the sales were good, but they didn't go off the charts type thing. But what's interesting is now Ruger is offering it, the GP100 in 22, 10mm, 44 special, 357. They offer it with 6, 7, and 8 shot cylinders, and its sales are huge. They have a lot of different configurations, lighter, heavier barrels, and so on. One other notable change, in addition to going to a hammer forged barrel from a cut rifle barrel that was on the Security 6, is the front sight was interchangeable. So you can kind of, every shooter can pick his flavor of front sight that he wants, and they're modestly priced, so you can change those out. Again, a very straightforward, very durable, very rugged gun, and they come in blue and stainless. Porter's got one in stainless that he got from me years and years ago. And here's a blued one that's, pretty standard gun. Heavy underlug, 4.2-inch barrel, which allowed it to go into Canada, which I understand even now Canada is having some difficulties allowing any handguns go into Canada, new handgun sales and ownership. But that's a whole nother mess. But I've always found the GP an amazing double action revolver. Tough as nails, accurate. It's just got a lot going for it. They're very popular today. People are recognizing the values and virtues of a revolver. So those are my thoughts. Paul, what are your thoughts?
It's pretty much the same. I really like my GP100. I use it as my everyday carry gun inside the vehicle. It stays in my vehicle all the time. I got 4 different speed loaders all loaded up, and it's just kind of one of my go-to guns that I keep on hand, ready to go at all times, and it shoots good and true, and very robust and reliable. So yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on them. I really like the GP100s, and plus the weight of them makes it to where it's easy to go double action and not lose control of the gun, as easily. So
all right, so this is actually my wife's GP. GP100s like that in Port Said are hugely popular. They're great guns, very tough, very durable, and certainly very accurate, very capable of being accurate. Here's a group I shot at 25 yards offhand. I'm not the greatest shot with a revolver, but that's a good group for 25 yards offhand. Yeah, they're really, really fun guns to shoot. So one benefit of a good double action revolver is obviously being able to use speed loaders. Makes reloading nice and rapid, easy to do, and great guns. GP100 also have adjustable sights. You can sight it into whatever your preferred load is. Another advantage of 357 Magnum is being able to shoot 357s and 38s like I'm shooting here. You can have a nice easy day at the range with low recoil and have fun shooting it and not kill yourself. Not that 357 kicks that bad, but 38s are definitely a lot quieter and softer than 357. So thanks for watching this episode of the Pierce Brothers. Stay tuned for more good content. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, and comment, and we'll see you next time.